Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 GMO Suggested Combos run, where we're going to be playing some of the combinations that people have suggested in the comments. So if there's any combos that you think are cool, definitely let me know, and we may give them a try. This is one that I've seen a few times, and many people said they thought it would be quite difficult. I actually don't think it's going to be that hard, but I'm very interested to see if I'm just missing something and it ends up being super hard, so we're going to give it a shot. We're going to do the Kill Absolutely Nothing run with Pacifist, which of course doesn't want to kill enemies, and Cryptid, which doesn't want to kill trees. With the Lumberjack shirt, normally an item that you really want to avoid on Cryptid, we are going to have to be very careful not to hit the trees, and of course Cryptid's Pacifist wants to usually move away from enemies. Cryptid depends on not killing trees, so the mobility that we'll have, the area that we'll have to actually move on the map, will be quite restricted by this combination of characters. To make this work most optimally, we're going to use the hand, because that will increase our harvesting and knock enemies away, and it's the normal pick for Pacifist. So let's just jump in and see if we can do it. As always with the Pacifist, we want to hit the enemies in the early game. These enemies have 4 health, and so if we hit them 4 times, they die. And they are worth more to us dead than alive. These enemies in the early game are worth... with the Pacifist, an enemy that you kill is worth 1 material. If it lives, it's worth 0.65 materials. So it's better to kill them if you have the option. We end up with 90 materials from the start, because we got money from the enemies and from the trees that spawned. Let's roll here and grab some harvesting, because we're going to want to build that up as soon as we can. And roll again, and manage to pick up 10 harvesting. That's pretty awesome. Here I'm going to be rolling for just any support weapons we can find. Hands would obviously be ideal, but with the support weapon tag, which just gives you harvesting, you want to get that online as soon as you possibly can, so that it can start building up stats for you immediately. One direction that we could go for this character is to use turrets to kill the trees, for us to try to drop crates from them, but since we will never be able to kill the elites and our turrets will never be able to kill stuff, I think that's probably not a good idea. So I'm going to pass on that. Sometimes with the Cryptid in the late game, it can be better to just build luck and break all the trees rather than try to keep them alive, but in the early game, it's better to try to keep them alive. We'll buy another support weapon here and lock a tree, because of course we want more trees. No support weapon, although Weird Ghost is kind of interesting. But let's roll and get another hand, and then I will probably lock the taser. We can still roll into a hand, so I'm happy to just lock the taser, and then I could also... I forgot... I should have taken note of how much the hands cost. I don't think they cost as little as 13. Or, they definitely didn't cost 11, so if I re-rolled, we still wouldn't be able to buy a hand. So let's just stick with 4 support weapons. 5th locked, we have 32 harvesting, and a tree locked, so I'm feeling pretty good here. These enemies only, I believe, have 3 health, so we can kill them pretty easily. Gain a little bit of extra money in the early game, and we're going to, again, not break the trees, so that our Cryptid passive can give us health regeneration and cash. Trying to make sure to pick up the materials, and we end up with 123 materials on Wave 2, which is about 3 times as much as you can normally expect at this point, so this character combination at least gets off to a good start. Whether it maintains that, I'm not certain. Let's roll for even more harvesting, because we still want to get that going early. Bag is going to be good, because we will definitely accidentally break trees sometimes, so I think I'm pretty happy to just pick up the bag here, and I will just grab that and the taser and the tree all together. We have enough money that I feel like we can fill out our weapon set. So I can just afford to buy those items, open up the shop slots so we can roll into more economy. Here I will buy the hand. Do I want to upgrade the tasers? I don't actually think we care about upgrading tasers, so I'm just going to roll past it. I'll buy more hands and try to upgrade those, because they get more harvesting and more dodge as we level up, but we don't really care about getting more tasers. Here I'm going to combine the taser, buy a hand for 15, and we will buy a lemonade. Even though we want to not break trees, the Cryptid is going to have a lot of trees on the field, which gives us the option to destroy a couple for an emergency heal, so Lemonade is very good for us in that sense. I combined that taser. It's possible I should have just sold it and gotten the extra couple materials, but I don't think it mattered that much either way. So right now there's not so many trees on the field that my movement is heavily restricted, but at some point it's going to be hard to move without killing a tree, which obviously we want to avoid so that we can make more money. Still making great income for this stage. Regeneration is good. Even though we build that as the Cryptid, we still are going to want some. I think I'm okay not rolling for harvesting, so I'm going to take one of these defensive stats. I think I'll start with max HP. And then we'll roll again here and take just a little more max HP. Obviously, we don't care about losing melee damage, so we'll buy the fertilizer here. And then I'm just going to sell this taser for another hand, because I want to build dodge on the unarmed tag as well, so we'll want to sell out of these tasers eventually, sort of no matter what. And here we are indeed going to do that. Get a broken mouth and roll. And then we can start upgrading the hands, which are worth even more harvesting now. Minus 2 HP, definitely a downside, but armor is really important for this character, so we're going to buy that, and then we will buy another lemonade. I'm going to roll once more to see if I can lock a hand. It only costs 7, and locking a hand would be really good. We don't want white flag, even though it gives us harvesting, because more enemies is still worth money to us. It's worth less money to us than most other characters, but it's still worth money. If I focus on killing these ranged aliens, I can probably kill like one before the end of the wave. And they do have a 10% chance of dropping a crate, so that can be worth doing on the Pacifist. All right, well I broke that tree, but we got a crate out of it, so instantly rewarded. Definitely not ideal that I've killed 2 trees already, because that has cost me 24 materials from the Cryptid passive, but I think, I think somehow, we'll be okay. I'm going to take the beanie here, because increasing our movement speed is very good, and then we'll reroll. More harvesting or regeneration. I actually think our income is fine at this stage, so I'm going to buy regeneration, because I want to get my defensive stats to reasonable levels before the late game. This is awesome. We get to upgrade a bunch of hands, so great chop there. Let's roll here. Continue to upgrade hands. Recycling machine is interesting for this character. It only costs 58 at this point, because it's only wave 4. So I think I will buy it. I think it will pay for itself, just as we sort of accidentally break trees. But since we don't tend to kill enemies, we won't get that many crates, so Recycling Machine can definitely be not worth it on the Pacifist. In this case, though, I think it will be. We will continue to upgrade our hands and buy the snail. Baby gecko we don't really need, so let's go to the next wave. Hand, I think, is generally just an underrated weapon, even on non-pacifist builds. Obviously, shouldn't have broken that tree, but got a little bit too close to it. You can still get really close to trees if you have to, just by manually targeting away from them. I took a lot of damage to demonstrate that, but it's worth keeping in mind when you're playing this character. If we have to pass near a tree and don't want to kill it, then we can just manually target away from it, but I'm generally not that worried about that. Attack speed, getting just a little bit of attack speed on the Pacifist is often good. You just need enough that you are knocking enemies away. We don't need to buy like a lot of attack speed, but when we get a level 3 upgrade, this can just help keep us alive just a little bit. Alien Magic, a perfect purchase for us. 5 regeneration is great. We don't really care about losing luck. While luck is nice for this character, we're not killing enemies yet, and we're not breaking trees that often yet, so we don't need that much luck. We'll buy another hand and a lemonade, and then roll. And another hand. All right, well, we've found a lot of hands, which I have to say is very nice. Let's roll again and go to the next wave. 110 harvesting on wave 6 is pretty good. This is typically a tough wave for the Pacifist because these guys are immune to knockback, so we can't push them away with our hands. We just have to stay out in front of them or tank the damage. But they at least don't walk directly at us, so if you move perpendicular to their direction of the direction of their charge, we can avoid tanking too much damage from them. And the Cryptid giving us a lot of free regeneration is certainly making it so I don't have to be as cagey about not tanking damage as I would be on a normal Pacifist build. I have to say that the sheer income that we're getting from this build is definitely making it a lot easier. We're just way over curve for how much money that we're able to buy, so our stats should be very high. I'll just take 9 dodge there. Going up to 24% dodge this early is pretty nice. And since we're the Cryptid, we can go all the way up to 70, so getting to dodge cap early is great. I do want movement speed, but I think we can roll for a better upgrade. And here, I'm going to take regeneration over harvesting. While I do still love harvesting, I think what we really want is defensive stats at this point. Maximum HP, yes. Wheelbarrow I'll still take, though. It's just too efficient an item to not buy. And I don't really want to build lifesteal. I mean, obviously we can't build lifesteal, but because we have minus 100%. But even if I could, I don't really want to build it. I much prefer regeneration on builds like this that won't always be able to attack. Upgrade our hands. So combining 2 level 2s into a level 3 turns 6 plus 6 into 9, so we end up with the same amount of harvesting. But there are points where it's not actually good to combine 2 hands and buy a lower one, because you lose harvesting. So just worth keeping in mind which ones are actually positive for you. We'll buy a hand here, and I'll show you when those come up. And then combine and buy a level 3 hand. Then we can repair the armor that we spent on that wheelbarrow. Mouse we're still going to buy, it's just more enemies, and that's good. Even minus 5 harvesting for plus 10% enemies is going to be good for us. As the Pacifist, if enemies despawn, they still count as being, because you exceeded the maximum number of enemies that can be alive at a time. They still count for your endgame passive, so for your end of round passive. So you still do want increased enemies on the Pacifist. That tree spawned right under me. There was nothing I could do to save it. This loot alien is just here to taunt me. That tree I walked right into. That one's on me. We are now at the point where it's going to be hard not to break trees, so I'd really like to pick up some luck so we can benefit when we do have to break the trees. Here, I'm going to reroll, and we will just take 5 regeneration. I mean, I would really like 6% speed, but you can't pass up a level 4 upgrade in this spot, and then I will take luck just to get back to positive. We'll take the mouse, and we will roll again. Take some more movement speed. That's great. Roll again. Dusty Fedora. So increased map size is actually good for me. We won't gain a lot of luck from it, because we typically won't be picking up that many consumables, but I think the increased map size is actually a positive, and if we get like 15 luck out of it, then that's still pretty good for us. So here, when we combine 2 level 3 hands, we combine those into a level 4, that's worth 18 harvesting, then we buy a level 1, so we don't lose harvesting there, but there are times where you can. We'll pick up the cute monkey and roll. Gold-plated teeth is too broken, so we're not going to buy that. And we will, I think, buy the propeller hat here. Now is a good time to start increasing luck. And defective steroids is worth 2 HP for 45. We obviously don't care about the damage. I don't think that's worth it for us right now. I do want to boost my HP, but that's a pretty expensive way to do it. So at this point, we could transition to trying to play a tree killing cryptid. If I just start breaking trees and building my luck off of the Dusty Fedora, then we can... Oops, I walked right into an enemy before I picked up that consumable, so I didn't get any luck out of it. If I keep breaking trees before while at full health and gain luck from it, then we can start gaining quite a lot of items from the trees as I kill them. I'm not going to go out of my way to do it, but I'm also not going to worry too much about dodging the trees at this point. I think it will still be fairly hard to build enough luck to make that work right now, but later on we'll be able to. Alright, we'll take another duct tape, and then I'll just take 6% dodge, get to 30%, that's pretty good. Metal detector, it doesn't do anything for us. I will roll here and buy a hand. I have no idea why I bought this cute monkey. I wasn't even thinking about it. That was obviously a mistake. We're never picking up materials. So the cute monkey was definitely not the right pick. We'll buy a coupon here, and I am going to buy Alien Worm, although I do still want Consumable Heal. We've got some already, and Max HP and Regen are both very good for this build right now. We'll take the Lucky Charm, and here I am just going to spend 46 on 2 Max HP. We're starting to reach the point where I need to actually pay quite a lot of attention to my maximum HP. So this could be a challenging wave. You can easily get overwhelmed on wave 9. But the knockback on our hands should help prevent that. This is the point where when you're playing Pacifist, you typically start falling behind economically because you're not able to kill all these enemies. Most characters are farming a ton of money. But I do think that the Cryptid money is going to help stop that from happening for this build. Provided I don't kill every tree on the map, but we do what we can. Just a little bit more movement speed would be really nice as well. Right now I'm having trouble outdistancing the enemies. Alright, well, we are not falling behind economically, as it turns out. We've got so much harvesting. I'm going to take more regeneration here, and even though I do want movement speed, we'll take the armor, we'll take more luck, and roll. Tardigrade, I think I'd rather just build regeneration than worry about tardigrade, so I'm going to pass on that. Spicy sauce. We don't really care about the explosion. Do I want to spend 89 on just 3 HP? That's pretty inefficient. I think I will pass on it. Let's upgrade a hand. Acid, I could lose 4 dodge, which obviously is a little bit painful, but we do need max HP, so I think it's worth it to take acid here. Not legal advice, by the way. And then shackles, we are not going to take because we can't afford to cap our movement speed at 2, but plant is very good, gets us to 24 regeneration. We will pick up the lemonade and the bag and blindfold. The crit chance doesn't matter, but 5 dodge is 5 dodge, so I think that's worth grabbing. And then, yeah, we're going to keep increasing and reducing our consumable heal and just build a lot of HP and regeneration as we do it. At this point, I think basically the only thing we need for this build is just more dodge. That's kind of the only thing that we care about, and some movement speed. More economy items would be nice as well, just to make sure that we don't start falling behind, but given how much money we're making per wave, I'm really not that worried that we're going to start falling behind. Did break that one tree, but we got a crate out of it, so worked out well. I think we will end up, because we have ended up not really going for the sort of luck-based kill every tree version of the Cryptid, we're going to end up with some of the economy items that I bought not paying for themselves, but I think it was still right to pick most of them up, just to make sure that we had the option. Power generator, I'm just going to recycle. We don't really care about either of these things, and then we will take the max HP. And 3 armor, that's great. That gets us to a very solid armor value. We'll buy all of these and roll. Upgrade the hand and roll. We can combine and buy another hand. And then Oh, wait, we've got minus 105% damage, so obviously Picket Sign is ridiculous for this character. So let's pick that up. This might be a little bit broken on Pacifist as well, but, I mean, this is designed for this character, so we're going to pick up this item. Yeah, I think we can still do a wheelbarrow at this point. Roll again. Fin is not the perfect way for us to buy speed, but still very good. Obviously, we'd prefer not to lose the luck, and the lifesteal doesn't matter, but speed is still great. Oh, excuse me. Rip to headphone users. We'll buy the tree. And do I want a weird ghost? I think I don't at this point. We do have a lot of regeneration, but we are going into a horde wave, and I just don't think it's worth locking the weird ghost. I would buy it probably next wave, but I just don't think it's worth locking. Max HP is important to us, but not so important that I'm going to give up a chance at rolling something better, like dodge. And I do also think that this character is at the point where a dumb weird ghost death is like one of the main possible ways that we could die, other than elites. Elites are still going to be very dangerous for this character. The fact that we got 2 horde waves is also really nice, because it's good for farming, and it's just good for our chance of winning. A wave 11 elite could be fairly dangerous, but the longer we go before we face an elite, the more time we have to build defensive stats. And also to roll into Ugly Tooth, which is kind of a core item for Pacifist against elites, because you can slow them down and not have to dodge as aggressively. I am now going to start breaking some trees, because I think our luck is high enough that the chance of rolling a crate is worth more than 12 materials for the most part. I'm not going to sort of aggressively do it, but I think it is worth doing. Keep buying armor. We've got 20 armor also, so we're in much better shape. We will buy a lemonade and then roll. Community support we don't need, obviously, because attack speed just doesn't matter to this character. We only really need enough to make sure that we're constantly knocking enemies away. And even like 10 or 20% is fine. So I'll probably buy like a coffee if I see it, but I don't want to reduce my armor for the community support. This is a question I sometimes get on Pacifist, because obviously it gives you a ton of attack speed when there's all the enemies alive, but attack speed just isn't very important for this character at all. I will roll past Piggy Bank. I think it's too late for it to do anything for us. We will buy a hand. Shackles. I still don't want to cap my movement speed at 9, so even though 8 regeneration is good, I'm not going to buy the shackles. Upgrade the hand. Roll. Vigilante ring we don't care about. Yeah, none of those we care about. Takeout increases my speed and increases enemy speed. Pocket Factory is interesting because it means that when we break trees, they'll start breaking more trees. So we could get a lot of crates out of that if we decide to go into that system and just try to break all the trees. Basically, the question is, do we think we have high enough luck that it's worth, on average, more than 12 materials, the amount that we get for a tree being alive, to break the trees? Are we getting, on average, more than 12 materials worth of stuff? And I think the answer is yes, but I'm going to wait one more round to buy it so that we can buy the takeout and the gambling token, and then we'll buy Pocket Factory, and we'll transition to just killing all the trees and trying to drop as many items as possible. That also will power up the Dusty Fedora and everything, too. If we can find Crown, that would be great. If we can find, honestly, just like 10% more move speed. At this point, though, we have 81 regeneration or 81 max HP and a bunch of regeneration, so we're really not in too much danger in these normal waves. Against elites, we can be in more trouble. It pains me every time I see one of those loot aliens despawn. Because basically now when we break a tree, the expected value is some percentage chance of a crate, 1 luck from the Dusty Fedora, and each time we hit a crate, we get 30 materials, so that's worth more than we would get from that thing being alive. So I think the expected value of breaking trees is now just significantly higher than the expected value of leaving them alive. Let's roll here. I'll take regeneration. Since we're going to be starting to break a lot of trees, we need to actually build regeneration ourselves, because the Cryptid passive won't give me any anymore. Buy the helmet. 15 speed. I think I'd still like more speed, so I'm again going to pass on the shackles. I will buy the weird food. That's just going to help our Dusty Fedora get more items for us. And then let's combine here, and we'll buy the hand. Do I want to start buying turrets just so they can break trees for me? The laser turret. Obviously, the level 1 turret would be more useful for this, but I think the laser turret will still be useful in this spot. And then I am actually going to buy the bandana as well, just so we can have our Pocket Factory shots pierce, because that's going to make it more likely that they break trees. We are going into an elite, or a horde wave, which does make me consider buying the black belt. Getting extra XP gain from that could be pretty good. It cost me luck, but luck is something that we're building a lot of naturally. I think I am going to buy the black belt. I think it's going to be worth roughly 1 level for us, which I think is worth 128 materials and -8 luck. Actually, when I put it that way, that was probably bad. That's why I usually don't buy buy XP items later on. But we'll see. We'll see if we get like 2 levels out of it. Then maybe it'll be good. Gonna run around trying to break trees here. And then those turrets will hopefully break more trees for me. Pushing that tentacle around. I guess I could have picked up the baby gecko so that we'd be picking up these materials off the ground as well. If I find Sift's relic, I'll now buy it, just because the number of materials we're leaving on the ground is going to start getting fairly high. Especially if I can get more tree spawns. So I think we broke about like 15 trees that round and got 2 crates, so that didn't work out super well. But I think it's still worth the attempt. Take the bandana here so they can break trees more easily. That's like a lot of money spent on basically a luxury item, but it's kind of fun to break all the trees, so we're going to go for that. Here I'm just going to sell this level 1 hand for a level 2 hand. I think the expected value on that's pretty high. We'll buy this. We'll buy the baby gecko. I guess now the cute monkey is not terrible either, so actually I'm going to buy the spicy sauce and the cute monkey so I can get a free reroll here. We don't really care about any of these, so let's roll again, and we'll take another plant and another blindfold. Only up to 42 dodge, which is low for the Cryptid, but we can still start making that work. If I can get landmines, just more random turrets around the map as well, then we can really start setting up our Pocket Factory shenanigans. Go out of my way to break all these trees. All right, so now we've broken 4 trees and gotten 3 crates out of it. So that's much more, the expected value has increased drastically. I will say that the Pocket Factory breaking trees thing is much less efficient on the increased map size from the Dusty Fedora, so we're still having to break a lot of these ourselves, but they are killing some, like this little cluster, and over here. The turret's destroyed rather than me having to do it. And we're still making quite good income because of our harvesting and the passive. We'll take the lemonade. I'm going to recycle scared sausage. Obviously our elemental damage is going to be the burn damage is never going to be high because of the low percentage damage we have. Improved tools is pretty good. Now we can buy attack speed, and that will just increase the chance of our turrets breaking trees for us. Here I will take more armor, and then yeah, I'll take 15% attack speed. That's fine. This isn't again something that we really want to invest in. But just a little bit more from improved tools means they'll break the turrets that much faster. Buy this and roll. And then don't need any of these, honestly. I'm really not that worried about Cute Monkey. I bought the other one because it gave me a free reroll, so it was pretty cheap. But here it's just not worth buying, I think. Lucky Charm will go up to 160 luck. And there we go, we get to max out our hands and buy the wings, which gets me to a much more reasonable speed value as well. 25 is much better, especially on the increased map size. We want to be in sort of the 25 to 40 range on Pacifist to make sure that we can stay ahead of any elites that we're going to fight. So we are now making more money on average by breaking the trees than by leaving them alive, because our luck is high enough that they're generating crates pretty regularly. They generate like 80% of a luck, like 0.8 luck, because sometimes I'm damaged, but most of the time we get a luck out of them every time we kill one. And every time we get a crate, we have 2 bags, so we're making a lot of money that way. All that together adds up to more expected value than the 12 we could get. Go up to 50 dodge, that's great. Yep, more max HP and health regeneration, perfect. And yes, take out, increasing my speed to 33 is awesome. We'll recycle the ritual here, and we will take more dodge, going up to almost the normal dodge cap, but of course on this build we are the Cryptid, so our dodge cap is 70. Take the baby gecko and the metal plate and roll. Another tree is great, and we'll take a plant and a wings. And now our speed is at a much more reasonable value. If we see shackles, we'll buy it now. And I am going to buy the weird ghost. We don't really need the max HP, but it's still an efficient purchase, and we have 50 regeneration, so I'm just not scared of dying. And then we'll roll here, and might as well buy another weird ghost when we've already got one. And yeah, we'll buy a turret here. Again, that can help kick things off for our tree-killing ways. I did have a moment there where I was somehow like, did I just forget a blood donation that we had bought earlier? But of course I had not. I guess I did cost myself 2 luck by doing that, because we picked up 2 consumables that we'd have been full health for otherwise, but I think it was still worth it. .40 speed is so much more playable, too, on this big map. Something like a landmines to help break trees, and of course any more actual just tree items that we get would be really nice as well. Landmines isn't that good on the big map here, but anything that we can get that helps break trees for us, I think is pretty valuable to this character. Alright, you can see we made like 120 materials off of just picking up the crates, and so now we've got 51% speed. I'll take the shackles, get my regen up to 58. We've got negative elemental damage, and this cost me a bunch of stats that we need, so there's a chance that Magic Barrier could be good on this character combination, but not for the build that we actually have right now. Recycle, max HP, let's roll here, and I guess I'll just take 10 more luck. Clover, that's great, we get more luck, we get more HP and regen, we roll. I don't need any of these, I'll roll. Don't need any of these, we'll roll. Keep rolling. Metal, obviously great, we don't care about losing crit chance and all the other stats. I guess the damage doesn't matter, but max HP and armor is awesome. And then, do I want the little muscly dude? Probably. 153 for 5 HP isn't the most amazing deal in the world, but it's still good for this character, I think. And here we'll lock another one. Alright, so we didn't find Ugly Tooth, and I will say this is one of the harder elites to fight as a pacifist, because it's going to start spawning attacks under me, I think. Or maybe I might be thinking of a different one. No, I think actually this one's just going to stay on the other side of the map from us, and we'll be fine. But We'll remember exactly how it works when we hit 30 seconds and it goes to stage 2. Tanked a couple extra hits there for no reason, but that's okay. Yeah, so this is actually like the easiest elite to fight on Pacifist, because you just have to stay ahead of it. And we're fast enough that we're mostly outpacing the rib cages and or can knock them back. Not making as many crates as I feel like we could be, but it's still pretty good. I'm taking that, even though we're over speed cap, just because it lets me buy items that reduce my speed without losing too much speed. Armor is going to be more valuable than HP in terms of increasing our survivability, so we'll take the armor there. Though then we will buy some HP. Don't care about any of these items. Gambling token, yes, we will buy that. And again, we will buy the weird ghost because we will just heal back very quickly regardless. Roll and roll. Don't need more movement speed, so I'll roll. Lure is just 3 regeneration for 145, which is definitely not amazing. But honestly, our regeneration is high enough that... So each point of regeneration makes each subsequent point of regeneration better. And also each point of armor and dodge makes each point of regeneration better. So I think it's actually worth buying the lure and the... buying the lure here, just because more regeneration stacks so well with itself and with all the other defensive stats that we've bought. I do need to dodge the enemies off of my first couple seconds here, because a buffed one of those chargers could still actually kill me if I get hit like a couple times in a row by them. But with 20 armor, or with 20 plus armor, I think we're still in the clear after the first second of the wave or so. We just heal back up so quickly. Yeah, like the incoming damage that we're taking is sort of in the 8 to 20-ish range, depending on whether the enemy's buffed or which enemy it is, but that's little enough that we can easily heal it back up, and we've got 70% dodge, so even if we tank a hit, we're not that likely to actually take damage from it. Here we are going to recycle this, and this probably pays for itself. Gonna recycle the fin. I'll take the alien tongue. More pickup range is probably good, and I will recycle the book because we have recycling machine. If we didn't, I might pick it just in case we roll into fairy. But with recycling machine, I think it's good to grab this. Here we'll just take armor, I think. Luck would be nice as well, but armor is just going to keep me alive. Take another gecko. Roll. Sure, I'll buy another laser turret. Just breaking trees. Still not buying gold-plated teeth just because it's a broken item. And marksmanship as well, although less so on this build. Take more regeneration and the weird food and roll. And then I guess I can buy more turrets. We'll just break a lot of trees with them. Sad Tomato is kind of interesting for this build because it might cost me luck when we break trees, but I think is still worth picking up just to get my regen to a critical mass where it multiplies so well with my armor and dodge. Even though the Sad Tomato itself is never going to heal back the damage that we take, like the 8 regen is never going to heal us for 80 plus health over the course of a wave. It's more about reaching critical masses of regeneration than it is about the sort of absolute amount of healing that it gives us over the course of a wave. That's another question that I get fairly often, is like when you have high HP and you buy Sad Tomato, the amount of healing it gives you is never going to equal the amount of damage that it does to you. But that's not actually a stat that really matters. Because you just need to reach, you'll heal that damage up before you take any hits, so that damage doesn't actually matter. And it's more about making sure that you're always at full health, that you heal up fully in between tanking hits, than about the absolute amount of healing that you're getting. We're going to recycle the candle and the lens here, and yeah, we'll take more regeneration. We'll take a weird food. I'm actually not over dodge cap, so now I do need to buy a little bit of dodge if I can find it. I guess I'll take the attack speed. Why not? I thought I had 74% dodge there, and could afford to buy that without going below dodge cap, but as is, I went down to 69% dodge, which would be the perfect amount to end with, but probably better just go back up to 70. I'm buying the turret there, not because it matters. Fertilizer obviously doesn't matter going into wave 20. We will roll. I'll take some luck here and roll. Plant, sure. Roll again. Warrior helmet does cost me some speed, but we're over speed cap anyways, and that's all stats that we need. Keep rolling. And keep rolling. All right, here's our dodge. Dangerous money. It cost me 20 to buy. So if we had more, because we'd immediately get a 100 material discount on our reroll. So if we had any more waves, this would be a very high value dangerous money. As is, though, I'm just gonna roll past it, and there's nothing here that we want, so let's roll and see if there's anything else we could get. Oh, sure. Here we get a bag and an ugly tooth, two super high value items for this character that we were completely unable to find, even despite having some of the highest economy we've ever seen and the most items we've ever seen. But they are just here to taunt us at the end of the run. What did I do to deserve this? Ugly Tooth also would, of course, be very valuable here, because it can keep you alive against the bosses more easily. So I'm just breaking all these trees so we have healing on the ground. That way, when I tank any damage from the bosses, we can immediately heal it back up with the consumable healing that we're generating. We could also leave them alive to give us extra regen, but I think having the burst healing on the ground is more valuable. Not that, obviously, not that it matters. Like, we can't die. I think I probably could still die if I went AFK, but it would be very hard for us to lose this run if we were, as long as we're trying not to lose it. But still, I think optimal play is breaking the trees so that we have stockpiles of consumable healing on the ground, rather than leaving them alive to build some regeneration over the course of the wave. The math on that would be fairly interesting to try to work out. All those buffed loot aliens that we cannot kill. We do end up with a lot of turrets on the ground, which is pretty funny, and we made 6 crates at the end of the wave as well. Again, just to taunt us, we could have had 6 more items and a bag and an ugly tooth. Really, the game just out to get me. All right, my friends, that was a fun combination. It was not particularly difficult, so if this is one that you thought would be really tough and have been nervous about trying, give it a shot. Use hand. It seems like you can just play it like a normal pacifist and just gain a lot of benefits from the extra money that you're getting from the Cryptid and the extra defensive stats. But it's a really fun one because you just get to run around not killing anything and getting a lot of money from doing so. Looking at our economy items, the recycling machine actually did pay for itself, but only once we started breaking crates, probably breaking trees on purpose. So I don't know how valuable that actually was during the part of the run that we still had a chance of losing during. The coupons were pretty decent. What else did we pick up? Not that much else in terms of economy items. But obviously all the fertilizers and wheelbarrows and 8 lemonades, 3 trees as well, was a big boost to this character. All right, my friends. Hope you enjoyed this run. This was a really fun one, and thank you to the people who suggested it. And definitely let me know what combos you'd like to see me cover in future. As always, if you have enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment and like the video. Both of those things do help me out a ton with the algorithm, so I do appreciate you taking the time to do it. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game content. We're coming up fast on the expansion, which I'm excited for. So we'll be covering that when it comes out, or when preview content releases, if I can work out with the devs getting some preview content. All right, folks, catch you next time.